Welcome to the project, everyone. Today we have something that's a little different, and I think it should be pretty fun. So we have a Nerf gun here, and we have a little bit of an emergency project, as I'm calling it, because I would rather work on the CNC a bit more, but no, we need to get this dealt with first. Because coming up this week, I have a church youth group Nerf battle, and I'm kind of in charge of it. So I figured I should probably buy myself a gun. And rather than just impress them with my obviously great tactical skills, I figured bringing more firepower would probably be a safe bet to assert my dominance. If you've been really attentive in my videos, you might have seen in the background that I used to be into airsoft. I know this doesn't have the yellow tip on it, but this is an airsoft gun. It's not a real gun. So yeah, I used to, like, in my teenage years and stuff, I would play a decent bit of airsoft with my friends. I never really got into Nerf guns, but, you know, hey, now's the time. So I got this Nerf gun, and looking at it, I'm pretty sure we can modify it. I think it'll be a fun project. Let's open it up and get to modifying it. Okay, so this Nerf gun, hopefully I'm getting the names right, because again, I'm not in a Nerf, but it's a Nerf Elite 2.0 Shockwave. And this isn't battery driven or anything, it's just a spring. You compress the spring like that, and then you can fire. And you got this big old drum of all the bullets right there. First things first, we need to get this drum out, and to do that we need to remove all these bullets. Alright, and when we bought this gun, the drum comes outside of it and you have to put it in, and I was really worried because like the first while that we had it, I didn't think I could pull the drum back out, but after fiddling with it for a bit, I think we actually can. I just need to get something that can poke down inside this hole here. And what it is you just gotta move the center of the drum that way. So we need to find something that's angled and can push on that. I think I have just the tool. Have this little pick here. So again, we're just gonna go down and find the center of that drum. And just like that. So the way that works is this piece right here, see it sticks out, oh. And it's also here on the back side. And then this hexagon piece is what it locks into, but it can be pushed in. So we use the center of that to push in the hexagon to then pop it out. Basically, the things I'm going to do to modify this is where the air comes out. And if you didn't know, Nerf, it just basically is a puff of air, typically, and the air pushes the bullet out. And right here, you can see we have a foam seal, and then there's like this little piece in there. I'm guessing that's to like block it in case a bullet's not present. So well, yeah, what we're gonna do is remove this piece and put in a stronger spring, but we need to take it all apart. So first we gotta take off this charging handle, and hopefully I have a decent screwdriver. I forgot, I wanted to show you guys something before I took it apart, so let me put this back together. Okay, so with this Nerf gun, one of the things that kind of irks me about it, and I kind of saw it with other Nerf guns, is it inconsistently fires. Like, some rounds will just go woo really straight, and others will just kind of like flop. So I'm hoping the changes we do to this can get a lot more consistency out of it. But first, as a baseline, we have our garage door here, and let's shoot it. So, you ready? So as you saw, I mean, that was actually a pretty dang good run. Most of them got into this second one right up here, but then some of them were falling down there. So yeah, it's a bit inconsistent. Hopefully we can fix that. All right, well, yeah, so we want to take off this charging handle first. So just 5 screws. Also, one thing to note, typically they have these little black handguard pieces on here, and you just gotta pry them off from underneath. I didn't put them back on for the video because in this other Nerf gun I had, everything's glued together, and I thought I could modify it, but no. And when I pull off those ones, they broke. These ones probably, they don't seem like they break as much, but still, just I left them off so I wouldn't accidentally break them. But this just comes off, that comes out. Also, make sure the gun's discharged when you do all of this. I'm just going to put the pieces back together and put the screws slightly in so that way I don't lose them. Okay, so next it's the big reveal. We have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Did I get both of those? 11 screws? 10 screws. So yeah, take all these 10 screws out and then the whole thing should come in half. Okay, so now with all those screws out, this whole thing should start coming apart like that. There we go. I will say on mine, it almost looked like there was a tiny bit of glue right here the first time I took it apart. And I was just seeing if I could modify it, which I'm pretty sure I can. So we have the whole trigger control group up here, essentially, and the firing pin and everything. And then there's just this little knob. So this whole thing pops out like that, and then we can get rid of that. Okay, so now this is actually a decently complicated piece of kit. It was quite interesting the first time I pulled it apart. Essentially, whoops, that sits in here. So essentially what happens is there's a spring in here and a plunger, and then all the air comes out here and pushes the bullets out. And then there's that white piece comes back and actually locks into this piece. You can see it down in there. And then when the trigger pushes that piece up, it'll release the firing pin. It will release the plunger and push air out. So let's take this apart. This rotates the drum mag, and this little piece is what does that. Let's take this piece off first, which I think just, oh, there's a clip right here. So what we're going to do is grab a little flathead screwdriver and undo those two clips. Boom. There we go. Now the drum can come out, and I will say this drum is not meant to be able to like force it to skip. So don't forcefully push your drum. It's going to break things. There the drum comes out, and I'm going to put it in exactly how it was in here. We've got this little piece. And we're going to set these up here. So now we can take out that piece, which goes like this in the drum. Okay. So now we're getting closer. Next, it's going to be taking off this whole piece, which is going to be, again, more clips. One right there, one right here, and one on top. So this is the one you want to be a little careful about, because again, it's holding all those things together. So we have our trigger release, and that just kind of sits in there. And then we have, again, that plunger, but now there's nothing holding the spring. We've got a mechanism that will lock this backwards or from going too far. Is that what it is? And then this one just keeps it, it's like you can only go part way. You have to go all the way or back, or else it'll lock it. And then there's this little spring for the air drum. I don't know what all the names of these pieces are, but we're just going to keep track of them and take them apart. Okay, here is the main thing that we are trying to modify. It's just a plunger that pushes air out the top. The two things we're going to do to modify this is we're going to replace this spring with a stronger one, which is going to be great. And then we're going to try to remove this piece from the cylinder. And the only issue with that is that this is glued. So we're going to have to get a little crafty with removing that, because when they assemble it, they just put it in there, pop it in, and then glue it together. But I think we can get it out. So let's get the spring off really quick. So again, we're going to take our flathead, going to put pressure up in here, and there's 3 tabs that keep it on there. I'm just going to pry them away a tiny bit without destroying things too much. And I think last time I was able to just kind of brute force that. There we go. So now we got the spring out. So now it's just trying to remove this piece, and I might need to, essentially, I think I'm just going to try to mutilate it until I can break it into enough pieces to get it out. So yeah, wish me luck on that. There we go. So that actually kind of worked out. I drilled some holes around the center, and then I was able to get the centerpiece out, and then I cut the side and was able to like spiral it out. So there we go. We got that piece out. All right, well, we got mail. We got some springs in here. So now I just need to make a really tough choice. Let's bring out the scale and I'll show you that guy. Bring out the trusty garage scale. Let's put on the old spring. And I guess we need some sort of measuring device as well. Maybe that'll work. So we'll tear this. This one is just about 3 inches, so I'm going to push it down 1 inch to 2 inches. And it's right about 4.5 pounds per inch. So yeah, so what that means is like it takes 4.5 pounds to squeeze this 1 inch. And that's important because then we're going to have these other guys in here. So I got 3 different spring rates. I got an 8.3 pounds per inch. Oh, whoops. Sorry, lowest is 7.3 pounds per inch. And then we have 8.3 pounds per inch. And then a big old honkin' 10 pounds per inch. I think I did the calculations of when this one is fully compressed in there, and it's something like 15 to 20 pounds of pressure on that. So there's a few things we need to be considerate of. We need to be considerate of the locking mechanism here, because, you know, again, 20 some odd pounds, and then you need to release that versus like maybe the 5 or 6 pounds of the original spring. I also we need to be considerate of this front piece, if I can get this to focus. Right there, this joint. I'm worried about that coming apart. And then lastly, the last thing I'm worried about is down in there, those 4 braces that hopefully you can see. I'm worried about those breaking, or else I would just jump straight to 10 pounds per inch. And I just need to be really careful not to shoot it without any bolts in there. So let's see, let's just try the 7 pounds per inch one. So if we put this on here, we tear it, it's right under 3, so I'm gonna go down right under 2. Oh, whoops. So I aired it out. This goes up to what, 3,000 grams? How, that's gonna be too much. How many, we're gonna cap out at 6.6 pounds. Which makes sense if this is a 7.3 pound spring. So we can't even measure these, but I'm pretty sure they're accurate. I mean, I paid money for them to be accurate, so. Anyways, okay, I don't know which one exactly I want to choose. I am worried if I just put in the 10 pound one that I'm going to break things right away. So it might be a decent bit of work, but I kind of want to just jump to this 8 pound one and start to feel how that is. And if it feels a little sketchy, then we can move down to 7.3. But I'm also worried about taking this apart a bunch because of that joint right there, but there we go. And so yeah, we put this cap on, and I'm just gonna, I need a flathead screwdriver. I just want to make sure I'm kind of, that those tabs are making good engagement, with the centerpiece there. So there we go, 8.5 or 8.3 pound spring in there, and let's start putting it back together, I guess. Alright, so we got the spring in there, and we got some bullets. So let's see how it does. It is quite a bit stronger of a pull. Oh, that's the last one. I mean, that's pretty good. We need to test it outside. You want to shoot me with it?
Yeah, I do.
Maybe I should put the... That one actually kind of hurt a little bit. Alright, so yeah, the 8 pound spring feels pretty good. I'm a little worried about going above that. I'm pretty sure it'll break it. So at least for this battle, I'm going to use the 8 pound spring. Maybe we'll come back for fun and try the 10 pound. And these guns are cheap, so I can always buy another one if the 10 pound breaks it. So we're going to do 8 pound for the battle, but I did notice something else. With this drum in here, there's a lot of gap, and so I'm going to put a bit more foam right here to try to help bridge that gap, because as much air as we can shove down the barrel, it's the better. It's going to work better. So I found some of this double-sided, or this like foam tape here, so I'm going to try putting this on and then maybe cutting it out. Okay, so that foam, I believe, did help, even though it's a little janky. And I think this thing is basically done, at least ready for the firefight this week. But I think it's missing one last thing. And let's see if we can do this. You ready? And there we go. Now it is finished. Put the guards back on, and now we got a little reflex sight action up in here. There we go. How about that, right? And now it's actually powerful enough it might actually shoot straight. I know this is a little overkill. I did have to put some tape here so that way it actually could clamp down enough. But I think that's pretty fun, and I think that's over the top. And I think it fits the aesthetic and the color scheme very well. I don't know about you guys. So, it's late. Tomorrow we'll get back and do a little bit of outdoor shooting and show you guys how it is. Oopsies. Oh. I made a mistake. So, as I was playing with the gun last night, I accidentally shot one time without a bullet in there, and then it wouldn't charge anymore. So, took it apart, and sure enough, this plunger piece popped off the front of that. And yeah, so we need to fix that. I thought I did find my 5.5 pound spring. So now we have 4 pounds of the original, 5.5, 7.3, 8.3, and 10. How am I going to fix this? So here's my idea. And I also did another oopsies, because in here, two of the 3 tabs, I accidentally broke off. What I wanted to do was just try to bend those tabs in a bit more to give good clamping pressure on the bottom side of this lip on here. And then I accidentally broke one of the tabs because I just pushed it a little bit too hard. So I think what I'm going to do is take a microfile set and just make sure this tab is nice and flat. And then we're gonna epoxy inside of there. And I've already taken a flathead screwdriver, and I could even take this and just make like a bunch of little dimples in the plastic here to try and give the epoxy something to hold. So the epoxy, I want to do two things. I want to fill in the space so the tabs can't pull out, and I also want to have it hold against those, hold against that lip. And so I want to put a bunch of dimples in here to give it something to grasp the side of the wall with, so that way it can't just come out. I am kind of cementing everything in here by doing this. So, I think I'm going to put in the 10-pound spring. I mean, come on. If we're making a YouTube video about this gun, I ordered a 10-pound spring. We should probably just put the 10-pound spring in there. So yeah, so we're going to put the big old 10-pound spring in there and see how it goes. I've made a bunch of dimples. Let's get some epoxy going. Okay, so this is pretty dang old JB weld, but it does need to be used, so yeah. We're just gonna, hopefully this stuff works. I guess we'll find out. In classic JB Weld fashion, I definitely made way too much. Yeah, but it does seem to have set up, so let's pull it out. So there we go. I'm just going to put the gun back together and then reconvene with you guys then. Before I put this back together, I did just have an epiphany. This piece right here, this little rubber piece, that's what's stopping the plunger as it comes flying forwards. So, you know, it's all compressed, and then when you release it, it comes flying forwards, and I'm pretty sure this is what's stopping, arresting the movement, not the four pieces down in there. So that's, I need to just make sure that that's strong enough, because I was worried about blowing out those. We've fixed the plunger head, but I just need to be careful that that doesn't break or reinforce it. So anyways, alright, I'm going to put the gun back together because, again, you guys have already seen that. It'll just be boring. So we will reconvene after that. We are back together. I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is the other gun I bought. I also put a red dot on this, but this one's like glued together, so I couldn't pry it apart to modify it. I don't know. It's still kind of fun. Just kind of weak. Alright, so let's try out the 10-pound spring. So we are shooting for that box over there, and I will show you what this little sight looks like. Where's the dot? Oh, there's the dot. Yep, there's the dot. And it's really not that accurate, so. Actually, that one actually flew straight. What the heck? Of course it's gonna make me be, okay. Yeah, see that shot low? Not bad. So now let's try this guy. Oh. So you can see that in there. And, yeah, it's significantly harder to cock in there. So let me just, here's the side. Oh, man. Let's see how accurate the side is. I would say that's pretty good. Alright, well so far it's held up to some rounds. Let's go see how far it shoots. Okay, so we're gonna do the stock one. Show you how far it goes. You missed one. Okay, and then for this one, that's pretty decent. All right, guys. Well, now that we have modified our Nerf guns, I think we're ready to go into intense battle tomorrow. Hopefully this thing doesn't break. So far, it hasn't with the 10-pound spring, but I honestly think maybe that 8.3 or even the 7.3 might be a sweet spot because it seems like this one doesn't shoot, the 10-pound spring doesn't shoot too much farther than the 8.3, but I mean, I'm trying a few other modifications and we'll see if it works. And I also, just to note, I did remove 2 of the safety devices on top and 1 on the bottom. Essentially, one of them allows, it's like right now it's cocked, so there was a safety device that wouldn't allow me to do this while it's cocked. Another one, if I cocked it halfway, I had to continue all the way. So I removed both of those so I could do this. And I could even just use it to check to see if it is cocked or not. And then I removed the safety device and the trigger so I could come up and release the spring. So that way, if I have it cocked and then I don't want to anymore, I can pull it away. Just so you know, I did remove those because they were kind of causing me some hassle. But, I mean, it's a pretty fun Nerf gun. I think I'm going to do pretty good in the battle. Yeah, I think that means this project is done. So glad you guys could come along with us. If you liked the video, I hope you guys come on the next project. And I hope you have a great day. And, oh, these springs, I'll put the part number down in the description. And there's some other links in there too if you want those. And, yeah, thanks for coming. I'll see you later. Bye.